At an Italian convent, Sister Mary is praying before she sneaks into the Mother Superior's room at night and steals her keys. Mary reaches the gates and tries to escape, but struggles to find the right key while 4 members of the convent approach. She manages to squeeze through the gate, but they grab her and snap her leg. Later, Mary wakes up to find herself buried alive in a coffin. A young nun, Sister Cecilia, accepts Father Sal Tedeschi's invitation and arrives in Italy, where she joins the same convent. There, she meets the Mother Superiors and Sister Isabel, who gives her a tour of the convent and informs her that it was built on the catacomb of St. Stephen and that the catacombs are off limits. Isabel takes Cecilia to her room and tells her she doesn't have to take her vows and can still go back, but Cecilia expresses that she is prepared. She also meets her roommate, Sister Gwen. Sometime later, Cecilia changes for the ceremony and goes to the chapel where she takes her vows under Cardinal Merola and Father Tedeschi. After the ceremony, Cecilia chats with Tedeschi and reveals that when she was 12 years old, she nearly drowned in a frozen lake and her heart stopped for 7 minutes before paramedics revived her. She believes this experience was God saving her for a special purpose. Later, Cecilia hears crying and follows the sound to find a nun lying face down on the ground in prayer. As she approaches to check, the nun turns her head, revealing that she is wearing a red cloth mask. Just as Cecilia is about to go get help, the Mother Superiors appears and walks to the altar. She takes a large rusty nail from inside a glass box and gives it to Cecilia, explaining that it is the nail used to crucify Jesus Christ. Cecilia starts to feel uncomfortable and passes out. After waking up, Cecilia confesses her sins to the cardinal, but he remains silent. Suddenly, hands grab her from behind, and 5 hooded nuns appear. One of them stabs her before Cecilia wakes up from the nightmare. She then is frightened to see someone standing at the door, but when she turns on the lights, the figure is gone. In the following days, Cecilia and Gwen become friends as they work together in the convent, tending to the elderly nuns before they pass away. One night, as Cecilia is about to sleep, she is suddenly startled by an elderly nun cutting her hair. Cecilia brings her back to their room, where she notices a woman with crosses branded onto her feet. The next day, while taking a bath, Cecilia starts to vomit. She goes for a checkup, and while waiting for the results, she looks out of the window and sees a hooded nun. Suddenly, a bird hitting the window startles her. Just then, Cecilia is called into the office where she is questioned by both Merola and Tedeschi about whether she has kept her vow of chastity. It is revealed that Cecilia is pregnant through an immaculate conception, as she has never had a sexual encounter with a man. Cardinal Merola and Father Tedeschi see her as the next Virgin Mary. The convent holds a ceremony to celebrate the miracle that God had bestowed upon them, but Cecilia is overwhelmed and concerned. As Cecilia progresses through her second trimester, she is shocked to discover that she throws up one of her teeth. Later, she enters the dining area where everyone stands to greet her, except for Gwen. They all sit down once Cecilia is seated, and Mother Superior brings her food, reminding her that her only job is the baby. While relaxing in the bath, Sister Isabel suddenly appears and pushes her underwater, attempting to drown her in a fit of rage. Fortunately, other nuns come running and pull her away as she screams that she should have been chosen and demands that the test be redone with her. Dr. Gallo checks on Cecilia and informs her that everything is normal, while Father Tedeschi explains that Isabel suffered from mental illness and assures her that they will ensure this never happens again. However, Cecilia asks to go to the hospital, but Father Tedeschi and Dr. Gallo insist that it's safest for her to stay until the Savior is born. As Cecilia walks through the cloister, she notices 2 hooded nuns staring at her from a window. Suddenly, someone jumps from the roof of the chapel. Cecilia rushes over and is horrified to discover that it's Isabel. At the funeral, Gwen warns Cecilia not to trust anyone here given the recent suspicious events. She then openly confronts the superiors, accusing them of hiding something, until she is pulled away. That night, Cecilia is sitting on her bed when a painting of the Virgin Mary nearly falls off the wall, revealing a Bible verse written on the wall behind it. She checks the Bible and realizes it's a hidden warning that something is wrong about this convent. She goes to find Gwen, but discovers she's not in her room. Cecilia then sneaks into the cardinal's office and uses a letter opener to break open a drawer. She is shocked to find a file containing information about her, including the accident from her childhood. Just then, she hears screaming and follows the sound to a room where she peeks through the keyhole. She witnesses Gwen being strapped to a chair while a hooded nun cuts out her tongue. Terrified, Cecilia slowly backs away. Suddenly, an elder nun appears and covers her mouth, signaling her to stay silent. Cecilia pleads for help to escape, but the elder nun says that she will never leave. The next morning, Mother Superior and Father Tedeschi are awakened by Cecilia's screams. They rush to her room to find her covered in blood and yelling in pain. Cecilia pleads with Tedeschi to take her to the hospital, as she fears for her life. While Tedeschi and Enzo escort Cecilia to the hospital, Mother Superior notices a feather and discovers a bag under the bed, realizing that the blood is from a dead chicken. Tedeschi receives a call and learns that Cecilia was only pretending to be in pain to escape. He orders the car to stop, and Cecilia realizes that her deception has been exposed and tries to run away. Unfortunately, she is caught and brought back to the convent, where Mother Superior aggressively cleans her up and scolds her. When Cecilia talks back, she gets slapped in the face. Cecilia is then restrained in a wheelchair, and Father Tedeschi reveals their plan to use DNA samples from the Holy Nail to create a new Messiah. He takes her to an underground lab filled with jars of failed fetus attempts from the past 20 years, believing that this mission is his calling and that Cecilia was chosen for this purpose. Enzo holds Cecilia's leg while Tedeschi brands a cross into her feet as she screams. Cecilia enters her third trimester, and Dr. Gallo checks on her baby, but steps out for a moment. While Mother Superior is doing the ultrasound, Cecilia seizes the opportunity, grabs a crucifix, and bludgeons Mother Superior to death before making her escape. As she exits her room, she suppresses screams of pain as her water breaks. She finds Cardinal Merola and approaches from behind, strangling him with her rosary. She then takes the Holy Nail before going to Tedeschi's lab and starts pouring ethanol everywhere. Tedeschi arrives and tries to stop her, but she grabs a flask and smashes it over his head. She quickly makes her way outside and locks the door behind her, but Tedeschi grabs her hair. In the struggle, she breaks one of his fingers and then ignites the ethanol with a lighter, setting the lab on fire with Tedeschi inside. But he manages to extinguish the flames and breaks down the door. Cecilia quickly runs away and finds herself in the catacombs under the convent. She tries to find an exit, but comes across Tedeschi searching for her. She turns off the lights and hides until he leaves. When she turns the lights back on, she's terrified to find Gwen's body. She keeps searching and finally sees daylight peeking through a hole. Just as she's about to escape, Tedeschi pulls her back and tries to cut open her stomach, but she stabs him in the throat with the Holy Nail, killing him. Cecilia makes her way out, but then screams in pain as she gives birth. She's horrified to see the baby, which emits inhuman noises. She bites through the umbilical cord and grabs a big rock, then crushes the baby as she screams.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our channel for more videos.